Okay, so how did we end up here? Standing next to an old raggedy station wagon when I should obviously be doing other stuff. I obviously was doing other stuff. It's been one of those weeks.
I'd say it's a nut job.
Okay, if you've been a subscriber of the channel for any amount of time, you remember this old wagon that we went to Tennessee and picked up. Uh, if you have not been, let me catch you up on it and tell you exactly why we're standing beside it today. First, why we're standing here. I had this grandiose plan that since this is Easter week, I was going to build up some videos. Excuse me. I was going to build up some videos, so I had a bunch of videos to put out uh, while we were celebrating Easter, and I didn't have to work so much. My plan was all laid out. Finish up the Galaxy, have it running and driving. Then there was an engine that I had all the parts for. I was going to spend about 8 hours putting this engine together. It was ready to go. And then the Jeep CJ project was going back in, and we was going to bust our tail on that Jeep CJ project for about 4 or 5 days before Easter and get a lot of work done on it, so that when we come back from Easter, we could kind of be on the home stretch with it and have a couple of videos on it as well. Well, let's say things didn't go our way. The parts got the last couple of parts you've seen in the last Galaxy video where we did have it running, but it's not technically driving. We're missing a few little pieces, throttle linkage and some fuel line and stuff, and they were supposed to be here. They got delayed in shipping. No problem. Push it out. We'll knock out this engine build. Had all the parts laid out on the table in order, ready to assemble this motor. I'd like to say they sent me the wrong parts, and I did receive the wrong parts, but technically the box was correct. That's right. The box the parts were in was correct, had the correct part number on them and everything, but when you open the box, the parts in the box were not what was said on the outside of the box. I was in the middle of doing that when I realized I've pretty much tanked everything I was going to do this week, because now I have two things sitting in front of my shop, or I have a car sitting in front of my shop, an engine sitting right at the door with a table with all the parts on it, and I can't technically get the Jeep in till I move that stuff out of the way. So, yeah. Now, granted, in the big picture of things, we're talking about the parts for the car supposed to be here later this week. The correct parts for the engine are on their way, but none of that stuff is going to be here in time to get done before Easter. So, got to get you animals a video. Here we go. Now, where'd this come from? If you have not been a viewer of the channel for a long time, it's cut the long story short. There was an issue with some property in Tennessee. A guy had a car collection. Most of them had been sitting outside for a long time. As you can see, this is not in great shape. Actually, I believe at one time it was a kind of a you pull it kind of junkyard thing. And due to some issues with the property, the guy was having to shred and crush what was left on the property. And when I say it was in line, I mean literally. There was one of those crusher machine shredder things on the property, and they had a big, um, almost like a big bulldozer with forks out there, just picking these things up and dropping them in the shredder and crushing them. This one was third or fourth down the line. Y'all know I'm a Ford guy, but up most I am a Wagon guy also. I love wagons, and I couldn't let this thing go. So I ran, snatched it, and brought it home. I got gas money in it, honestly, and a night at a hotel because, well, I had to go to Tennessee to get it. But it's a 62 or 63. I don't remember which one. BelAir wagon. It was fairly well. It was optioned weird. It had AC and all those goodies on it, but it was a 3-speed on the column car. Let's take a look at it, and then I want you to help me. I know where it's going to end up at the end. I'll tell you at the end what my plans are for when it's done. But I want you guys to help me decide how we're going to build this wagon. And we're going to do every bit of it here on the channel. So let's walk around and look at it. All right. So as I said, it was in a little salvage yard. Both front fenders are missing. This grill is damaged and all, but laying right up there on top of it, I have another grill, headlight surrounds, and all that. I'm missing both front fenders. It does have an engine in it, although I would almost guarantee the engine that's in it is garbage. The outside of the car is not terrible. The floors, of course, are shot in this thing, but all the glass is perfect in it. None of the glass has even got a crack or anything in it. There's a little rust right here, but for the most part, the outside of the body is in really good shape. Now the tailgate, on the other hand, has some rust down here, along here. But look how perfect. I mean, even the chrome's still nice on the rear bumper. Back glass still rolls up and down. A little crank works. Here's the crazy. That tag is like a 1978 or 77, something like that tag. I'd have to look again. And this is a 62 or 63 wagon, so it wasn't on the road long. It's actually not got a lot of miles on it. No idea why stuff gets parked. I rolled the windows down because I was checking to see if it go up and down, but again, the floors are shot in this car anyway. The dash is all there. It looks like somebody had the idea they were going to take it out, so they took the column out and the dash out and just laid it in the floor, but never done anything with it. But it's salvageable. This wagon could be fixed. I was wrong about the glass. The front glass is broke. All the rest of the glass is in perfect shape. No damage or anything. No cracks or anything. The front glass, of course, is kind of cracked up, but I'm not too worried about that at the moment. I do have an extra piece of fender trim right here. It's laying on the dash, but don't have the fender. The only piece of trim that I know I'm missing is this one piece that goes up along the window right here. I'm not a Chevy guy, so I don't know what the differences are. This one is, of course, the BelAir. I do have tail lights for it. As I was looking at these online, I noticed some of them have like a aluminum or something insert that goes all the way across this one. I don't know if all of them had it and this one's missing it. I don't think this one would have had it because it has a Chevy badge. Again, I'm not a Chevy guy, so I don't know a lot about them, but I know I love wagons, and this is just a cool old wagon. So now what do? Let's open the door and look inside. Again, the floors are shot. Somebody was taking the dash out, and they had the steering column laying there, and the dash is laying there. All the gauges, all the knobs, switches, everything are still in there. It's like they had the idea to take the dash out, but then changed their mind. But the dash is actually in really great shape. It's a piece of rubber, like a gasket there that's laying up on it that looks odd. Of course, seats are shot. Hey, I got another tail light piece in there. Of course, that one's a little mashed. Got the antenna laying in there. It's got 3 pedals, which, kind of drew me instantly. So, what are we going to do? I didn't exactly have a clear plan when I picked this thing up. All I knew is I couldn't let it get crushed. And if the guy was willing to just let me come get it to save it and stop it from getting crushed, I kind of owe it to the wagon to do something with it. When I first went and picked it up, my goal was to just make it run and drive, and I wanted to drive this wagon right back to Tennessee. where it had been sitting for 40 some odd years, 45 years or something. That was as far as I went. But I have all these other things that I'm working on. The Galaxy, that Jeep CJ, there's a couple of unibodies I'm working on. There's a whole list of stuff that actually needs to get done. So I brought this kind of back to my little junkyard back here, my little Fred Sanford area, and unloaded it, and it has sit right here for about a year. But I need to do something with it, and I figured since I was down a little bit with some waiting on a few things for a couple of days, it was right at Easter, and I wanted to get you a video out. I want you guys to help me decide how we do it. Now I'm gonna run you through 3 or 4 scenarios. After I'm done running you through these scenarios, I'm gonna tell you what my idea is for the product once it is done. You get to help me decide what we're gonna do with it. The way I look at it, there's a few different ways we can approach this thing. Let's kind of start with the least likely to happen. I mean, yes, it's a fairly straight wagon, but let's be honest. The least likely option is a full restore on it. Anything, I'm an honest believer that anything can be restored and saved. It's just sometimes, is it worth it? I'm not a Chevy guy, so I honestly don't know what the value of this thing would be fully restored. But what I do know is the amount of labor and parts it would take to restore it. You could probably buy one cheaper. And I'm a small budget guy, so honestly, it would take a lot of good-hearted people donating a lot of parts and materials, and then you're looking at a very long, lengthy process for a car that may not be worth the value of the parts in the car. Could that be done? Yes. But honestly, think about it. Once you strip this thing down, who knows what you might find under some of this paint. The trim it is on, it's got dings in it, needs floor pans. It's endless that the stuff you'd have to do to it. Next, we could do something along the lines of, I don't have any real order the way I'm going to make these suggestions. Another way we could do it is we could do a chassis swap. We'd have to find a couple fenders, but we could do a chassis swap, try to find some vehicle that shares a wheelbase similar to this, and just cut the bottom out of this, lift the body up, do the same thing with the donor vehicle, and set this down on a more modern drivetrain, and just leave the rest of it the way it is. Put new fenders on it, try to carry it and have the patina matched out and go that route. That's probably not the most exciting way to do it, but that's a possibility. Another route we could go with this thing is, I'm not a big fan of this X frame that's under it. Maybe it was a good idea, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. But another possibility is we could just find us a frame somewhere, put a good motor and transmission on it, and just slide this under it. Again, we'd need floor pans and stuff. There's endless possibilities, honestly. But we have to pick what makes the most sense. Honestly, when I first got it, as I said, my goal was to kind of just make it run and drive it back where it was. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, I was going to put an FE in it, in like a 4 or 5 speed manual, for 2 reasons. I have them. Second, it kind of makes me laugh a little bit to see how mad people get because there's a Ford motor in a Chevy. And I don't have anything in it. So it was comic relief for me. But I want to save this wagon. I want to do something with it. So that's where I need your help to decide what we should do with this thing. Now, again, the possibilities are endless here. We don't even have to stick to the status quo. Think of it as this. This car is far enough gone that it doesn't make sense to restore it. And it's far enough gone that anything we do saves it and puts it back on the road. We don't have to feel guilty about cutting on it, welding on it, changing stuff on it, because it hasn't been, well, technically, I guess it is an original car, but it hasn't been to the point where you would consider this an original Survivor car in a long time. So there is some options. I think it makes more sense to leave the patina. Let me make this clear. I am not a patina guy. I like stuff to be painted. I'm not a patina guy at all. But in this instance, it probably makes sense to leave the patina. But I'll let you tell me. My thought is leave the outside patina basically the way it is. Fix structural stuff that has to be fixed. Let me say idea one. Leave the outside the way it is. Fix the structural stuff that needs to be fixed. We just find random motor and transmission. I do want to make it a manual that has the third pedal, so I would like to see a 5-speed in this thing. I would be okay with a 4-speed for sure, but I'd like to see a 5-speed in it. Suspension stuff, do some interior stuff, floor pans, electrical, running, driving car. Simple, clean. The other idea that I have seriously considered is take all of what I just said, but change one thing about it. What if, follow me on this boat for 1 minute, what if we did this? What if we built what Chevrolet should have built? And honestly, guys, don't roast me on it because they may have built them. I'm not a Chevy guy, again, as I say, but what if we take and build something that I feel like Chevy should have built? What if we ditch these 4 doors? We find a pair of 2-door off of an Impala or BelAir or some kind of car, 2-door doors. We move the pillar back, put 2 doors on it, put some metal in here, take these glasses out, put a piece of panel in here, and we make a panel wagon like a delivery vehicle. It gives us a place to do some cool artwork, and then maybe we can match patina. Maybe we can find some blue doors already. And we do everything just like I just said. Front clip, basic patches, electrical, motor, transmission, run, drive, but we convert it to a 2-door panel. Again, we don't have to feel guilty about this car because this car is in pretty rough shape, and this door has a pretty good whiskey dent right here. So it's not like we're losing something that's amazing. Those are my 2 big ideas. Those are the 2 ideas that I think have the biggest chance of making great content for you and making something cool. And I guess if I move down the line, one of the things I've considered that I mean, I can take it or leave it, is I'm not a big fan of the X-frame. So finding a modern frame, just a rolling frame, I don't know if it has to be out from under a truck or what. I got to measure the wheelbase, see what it is. But find a frame that has some good suspension under it. Put maybe air ride on it or something along those lines, motor and transmission in it, and then set this body over on that frame so that we can lay the rockers on the ground, but leave the outside the way it is. I don't know. You got to tell me what you think would be the best option for this car. Again, I don't mind taking the car back to the way it should have been done. I just don't think the value is there. I think that if that much money was put into it, could buy a car. And I don't have that kind of money. So if that was going to happen, we'd have to get people involved. We'd have to find some kind of suppliers to donate some floor pans and things along that nature. And the reason I say all that donate stuff and all that is because here's my idea when this thing is completely done, completely finished. You stick the key in it, you crank it up, it drives around. Also, I got to go through the process of getting all the paperwork. Since this thing has been sitting since the 70s, I got to go through all the paperwork to get the title and all for this thing so that it is legal for the streets. But here's my grandiose plan when this thing is done. Here's what I intend to do with this car. Most of you guys know that I'm a huge supporter of the military. I mean, for God's sakes, my car, the entire hood of it's dedicated to the Gary Sinise Foundation. I have a great relationship with them. The sides of the car has the Mission 22 organization on it. I have a great relationship with them. The car is red, white, and blue. It has an American flag headliner, for God's sakes. This car is dedicated to our American men and women that serve our country. We take the car to charity events for military people and first responders. We just absolutely love our servicemen and women, and too many of them have to fight too hard for things when they return home. So here's what's going to happen to this car when it's done. And when it's done, you get to decide where. But we're literally going to crank this car up and deliver it, no questions asked, deliver the car with the title to one of these military organizations and let them use it in any way they feel necessary to generate income for them to help uh, American veterans. I'm not asking for a penny from them. I'm not asking for anything in return from them. This is going to be one of those things that when I just wanted to save this, and I think this car would well represent our American military. This was a great car at one time. This car was beautiful. This car was something that some family desired and probably spent more money than they could ever imagine having at one time. So their family could have a beautiful car to go on vacation with. This car was loved. This car was beautiful. This car was glorious at one time. Then this car got forgotten about, kicked to the side, and become undesirable. We bring this car back and make it useful again, and we give this car a purpose again. And I believe that represents a lot of veterans that return home very well. They were once the most elite in the world, and when I get here, sometimes they get forgot about and left behind, and we have to work with them to bring them back up, uh, bring them back up again. And I think this project will well represent that. Um, Interesting enough, I said I couldn't remember if it was a 62 or 63. There's a giant 62 uh, marked on the roof of it, so I'm going to assume it's 62. So that's the end goal with this project. Is we're just going to kick it off and let one of these great organizations that you decide who do whatever they want to with this car. It's completely up to them. And when the time comes, we'll dig around and we'll come up with a list of 4 or 5 organizations. You guys will pick which one. We will load it up, take it to them, drop it off, hand them the keys, the title, shake their hand, and then they do what they want with it. Now, with that being said, understand that since I am, you know, I kind of do low buck stuff on here, not because I think low buck stuff is cool, but it is, but I don't, I am low buck. I don't have a whole lot of money. So this is a project that, well, it might take a minute. It's a project. It's a project that might take a minute, because we'll have to work on it as we can afford to work on it as we can find a few dollars to put into it, as we can find parts to put into it. And I mean, honestly, I'd like to say it's one of those things that we can get it done, get it knocked out, and get it out the door. But let's be honest, guys, it's going to take some money and some parts, even if we just stabbed the motor and transmission in it, patched the structural stuff. It would still take time and money. So it's not going to be an overnight project, mainly due to financial restraints. So that is the truth of the matter. But with that being said, I always welcome people if they want to help out. You know, you can send parts, you can send whatever, and we'll put it toward this. Maybe we even do something cool where uh, I guess it all depends on how many people want to get involved, but it's one of those things. Maybe we do something cool, like on the tailgate, uh, put a list of people's names that donated the project, or maybe we just acknowledge them in the final product when we hand it over, and acknowledge in the video that these are the list of people that helped out, or whatever the case may be. But again, this is something that's going to take a while. But I need you guys to help me out as far as what direction do we go with this. Um, that the ideas are endless. The possibilities that we could do with it are endless just because of the condition it's in. We don't have to feel guilty about anything we do. Uh, Deep down secretly, I kind of would still like to stuff an FE in it. All right, guys, there it is. 62 BelAir wagon that was real close to being crushed. I mean, it was in line to be crushed. Uh, there is a video back on our channel where we went to Tennessee and picked it up. It's an older video. I'd have to go back and look to see how old it really is, but this is it. This is the project. Hopefully we can get some vendors on board that would be willing to help us out with some sheet metal or some engine parts or transmission parts or whatever, because the more stuff that vendors are willing to supply, the cooler we can make it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if no one gets involved in the project other than me. The project's going to be what the project's going to be, and we're going to do with it what we're going to do with it. I would, as I said, I'm not a crazy patina guy. The patina on this is stinky cool, but at the same time, I also think it would be cool to fix the rust, body work it, and put a paint job on it, even if it's not a high-end show paint job. Put a paint job on it that was some kind of Americana paint job, maybe white and blue with a red pinstripe, two-tone kind of thing. But I don't know, you know, it don't have to go that far. I think honestly, if this thing was riding low, sounded good, and had a decent interior in it, I think it would benefit these folks a lot and help out a lot. So ultimately, it's your call. What do we do with it? How do we build it? And in the end, it'll be your call where I take it and drop it off. Uh, Drop in the comments and let me know how you think this car should be built. And guys, come on. I know there's guys out there, as the channel grows and gets bigger, there's going to be trolls out there that just want to call it garbage and say it's not worth it. We should do something better. If you want to open your pocketbook up and donate a better car, sure. But this is the horse we have. This one was worth saving, in my opinion. And I think this one is a good representation of the American soldier. And I think that we can do something cool with this car. At the end of the day, I still think it would look wicked cool doing a two-door conversion and making it like a panel wagon. I think this thing will bring a lot of attention to something that needs attention brought to it. I think it could help a lot of people that needs help, and I think it gives the opportunity for people that always said, "I wish I could do something for them," to do something for them. There's there's other ways you can do that too, because I'll go so far as to say any money that the video makes with these cars in it, that money goes into this car to make this car better. So if you can't help out any other way, the subscribe, comment, like, and share the video to help the video get more views. That makes the video make more money. That's more money we can put into this. Everything that this video makes goes into this car. This one needs to be a cruiser on the road. We have the potential to use this to change people's lives. If not directly through the car, we can change people's lives through the message of the car, and let people know that they need to be more involved in helping our military veterans. I don't know where this project will go from here. I don't know what direction this project will take. I'm going to wait to see what you guys say in the comments. I don't know who will end up with this car. But what I understand right now is that this car, I do think the Lord wanted me to save this car so it could save somebody else. And I don't know if that's going to mean through the physical car itself going to somebody. I don't know if that means the message of the car is going to help somebody. I don't know if that means that the videos in the process, somebody will get involved in this car with the process of building it, that they'll heal through the process. I don't know what it's going to mean. I don't know where this is going to go. I'm going to put it up in the Lord's hands and let you guys decide what we're going to do. And at the end of the day, maybe you guys will come up with something really cool that I haven't thought of. And we'll be able to make a difference, even if it's just for a handful of people. If each one of us made a difference for a handful of people, we could change the world. And I think we need to start with the people that are willing to lay down their lives for us and they don't even know us. Guys, as I said, I'm not going to have any hand in how this car gets used, how they choose to use this car to benefit them. The only thing I'm going to have a hand in is the construction of it and the handing off of it. I honestly believe that a good, honest organization that already has feet on the ground and are already working with veterans will be able to make better use of it than I ever could. And I'm not even going to offer any suggestions to them, because anything that I do probably would not be as good as what they could come up with. Because there's probably a organization out there right now that helps veterans that has a idea of something that they want to do. If they could just get over a hurdle to be able to do that, and maybe that car is that hurdle, and maybe the Lord put it in my life so that I could put it in their life. Guys, comment with your ideas of how we should build the car, and let me know what you think. Again, this is the one video that I will say this about. above some of the others I say. Please share this. Maybe through sharing this, people that do have the ability to help source parts or something will see this. This is one of those videos that if you haven't subscribed, please do, and comment and like, because YouTube, if you don't understand how it works, YouTube pays based off the views that a video gets. And the more views we can get this video, the more money we can make on this video to put into that car. And at the end of the day, financial stuff is going to be the limiting factor as to what we can pull off in what time frame. Balls in your court, guys. Again, comment, like, subscribe, but drop in the comments what you think we should do. I've got about 3 different ideas in my head that I'm equally as enthusiastic about doing. And I've got a couple ideas in my head that, man, I really don't want to do it that way, but I'll let you guys decide. God bless you to each and every one of you who have subscribed. You don't know how much you bless my life by subscribing, commenting, liking, doing all that stuff. Especially sharing, especially this video, guys. Please share. And I hope the Lord blesses you more today than He did yesterday. Him be the glory. God bless each and every one of you. And guys, I will probably see you after Easter. I don't know that I'll be able to pull another video off before Easter, but because this weekend. But if I don't see you before Easter, please remember the reason that we have Easter isn't for bunnies and eggs. I hope you guys enjoy some time with your families. I hope you have a blessed holiday, and we will see you on the next one.
I'd say it's a nut job.